Hello everybody, welcome back to the Bad Bookers Wrestling Podcast. My name is Jack and today we've got the review of last night's Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw, which kicked off with quite possibly the best news anyone could have hoped for. Roman Reigns is in remission from his leukemia. What more do you want? What more do you want? He came out, the reception he got was massive. To be fair, the Atlanta crowds did fantastic all night. They were into it all night. So fair play to them. Real MVPs, as I said on Twitter. He goes round, he embraces everyone, he high-fives all the kids around, he has hugs with his family, who are at ringside as well. And he jumps in the ring, and he says that, first of all, thank you. Thank you to everyone for showing him the love and support, and that everyone surrounded him with the love and support as well. And if there was a way for people to get in contact with him and, you know, wish him well, that they found a way to do that. He said that no matter what sport, there's no other fan base than this fan base, than the wrestling universe, the WWE universe, if you will. He says that he will use this platform to help anyone and everyone who's battling the same battle that he did, and that he finally announced that yes, he is in remission, and yes, the big dog is back in his yard. Just brilliant, fantastic. Nothing more to say there. Just fantastic news. What we all wanted to hear, and we've got the news we wanted. There's nothing else really to be said about that. It's just what we wanted, and we got it. And I'm glad anyway that he's back, because love him or hate him, Roman Reigns has left a massive hole on Monday Night Raw, and missed him dearly. He then says thank you to the crowd once again. And he goes out, music's playing, he goes around high-fiving everyone again and whatnot. And then Seth Rollins comes out to embrace him, just like when he announced his leukemia in October. Seth and Dean came out to embrace him then. This time it was just Seth, obviously, with the shenanigans going on. Yeah, they embraced at the top of the ramp. Really nice to see. And we then kicked off into action. Into the wrestling. Also, after the feel-good moment, we'll kick off into some wrestling, shall we? Our first match of the night was Aleister Black and Ricochet versus the Raw Tag Team Champions. I was going to say DIY then. That'll be quite nice, actually. For the Revival. Black picking up the win for the faces after a black mass on Scott Dawson, who sold it fantastically well. He kind of just penciled down after he hit it. It was fantastic to see. Yeah, Revival have lost 2 weeks in a row, which I'm not surprised at. I said on Twitter that, you know, Vince, they've pissed off Vince with the whole AEW stuff, if it's true. Vince has tickled their balls a little bit with making them tag team champions, and now he's just feeding them to the NXT lot. Makes the NXT guys look strong, and it, in Vince's mind, serves them right for not being yes men, if you will. So I'm not surprised for one, but tag team championships are already dead anyway, aren't they? We had bloody Miz and Shane McMahon as tag team champions not too long ago. So tag team divisions on both sides at the moment are still dead. They've still got a lot of work to do. We then had Elias in the ring for his, whatever he does nowadays, performances and whatnot. And he is, before he even says anything, he's cut off by Lacey Evans, who does her catwalk thing again. Don't know. I'm starting to like it. It sounds weird. I'm starting to like it. That's just because I love Lacey Evans. She's just fantastic in my eyes. Yeah, she did that. And then before Dean Ambrose she goes to the back. Before Dean Ambrose could start again. Before Elias could start again, Dean Ambrose comes out wearing his blue jeans. You can tell when Dean Ambrose is face and a heel, because when he's face, he wears blue jeans. When he's heel, he wore those black jeans with a chain on. He wore blue jeans, so he's definitely a face now, apparently. They do a little bit of dialogue in the ring and whatnot. Nothing too major, nothing to write home about. And Dean hits it. Well, Elias turns around, goes to hit Dean with the guitar, and Dean Ambrose ducks under it and hits him with a Dirty Deeds before leaving to go back up the ramp. It's weird because when Dean came down, they didn't play his version of his theme with the sirens. They didn't play that, but when he left, they did. Make your mind up. Come on, make your mind up. First match of the night that I've made some proper notes for throughout the night. Because this all happened in the first hour. Because it was so fast-paced, they changed the structure of it, where there was more matches, but they were slightly shorter, which I prefer. It made Raw quite an easy watch, to be fair. But it meant that I was struggling to keep up with notes. So I finally made some notes for this match anyway. Ronda Rousey and Natalya versus the Riot Squad, the version of Sarah Logan and Ruby Riott. Ruby Riott wrestled with a hat on, a woolly hat. Okay. It was a standard match, to be fair, but it ended in a DQ because Becky Lynch came back down, didn't she? The man came back down and she punched Natalya, who was trying to just, say, look, Becky, you don't need to do this. Punched Natalya in the face, in the throat, whichever one, and then started beating her up with a crutch. She's not a very good actor. I don't think she's got an injury. She's just not a very good actor. Her limping skills are not very good. Security they actually think, instead of waiting 5 minutes, we might as well jump in now, shall we? Yeah, alright, we'll jump in now. They jump on Becky, they jump on Ronda, police come down, the producers come down and shit like that. Finley's there trying to break everyone up and whatnot, and Ronda's demolishing security guards in the ring, like punching their lights out. Becky's on the floor trying to get free and whatnot. It's all kicking off. The Riot Squad have probably gone to the back at this point. Becky gets arrested by the police and is taken to the back. No comparisons to Stone Cold this time. No comparisons. Because it just wasn't. It just wasn't. Ronda Rousey goes back, helps Natalya to the back, but then goes back into the ring afterwards and gets on the mic, and she calls out Vince McMahon. She says, we need to settle this once for all. Vince, get out here now. But instead of Vince coming out, Stephanie McMahon came out, and Ronda says, look, I know he's brought you out here to do his bidding, but you need to reinstate Becky now, because I'm fed up with this. You need to reinstate Becky. So Ronda's there, trying to get Becky reinstated, because she doesn't want to get beaten up by a suspended and have matches DQ'd and whatnot with crutches and all that jazz. Steph says that she can't reinstate Becky because she's unprofessional and all that. She's just been arrested, for crying out loud. Ronda just has to get used to facing Charlotte at WrestleMania. That's all that matters. And Ronda says that make it a triple threat. Me, Charlotte, Becky, make it a triple threat. Think about what it would do to women to have a first ever main event at WrestleMania. Think about your daughters, Steph. And Steph says, I can't reinstate Becky. It's a hard no, as she says. So Ronda then unexpectedly says, well, make sure you tell Vince to make the right decision, because I don't want to be champion if I'm going to be facing the chosen ones. And then she just lays down the title and walks off. So at this moment of time, Ronda's vacated the title. I guess it's a way that if she vacates the title, but they don't put it back on her, but they reinstate Becky, so there's a triple threat for the Raw title, but no one's got the title. I guess that saves Ronda a little bit. Like it doesn't make her look weak losing the title because she vacated it. I don't know. I assume she's going to get it back at some way or another. But from what we saw, it looked like Ronda Rousey vacated the title. Next up, we had 3 short matches. I'm just going to bash through him. Jinder Mahal made a challenge to anyone in the locker room, not everyone, because he wasn't invited to Ric Flair's birthday celebration later on. Kurt Angle came out, and Kurt Angle made him tap out in quick fashion even, to the ankle lock. We then had a moment of bliss with Finn Bálor as the guest. Before anything could really happen, Lio Rush comes out, once again says that Finn doesn't deserve to be champion, Bobby Lashley does. Finn then offers Lio Rush an IC title shot because he pins Lio Rush at Elimination Chamber, and Rush is like, yeah, go on, and after some egging on from Alexa Bliss. Match was a pretty decent match. Lio Rush was working Finn's leg for all of it, but Finn retains his IC title with a coup de grace, and then backstage Lashley was there saying, you were supposed to go out there and get me a title shot, but you've gone out there and got yourself a title shot. I don't know if I can trust you and whatnot and all that jazz. We then had Lashley versus Braun Strowman. The match didn't even start. Braun Strowman just demolished through both Lio Rush, Bobby Lashley, and the match didn't even get going. We then had a no disqualification match between Dean Ambrose and Drew McIntyre. It was an okay match. It was longer than last week's match, I'll say that much. But Drew McIntyre once again picking up the victory after help from Elias. Obviously, what happened earlier in the night with Dean Ambrose dirty deeding. Elias came out, gave a hand to Drew McIntyre, and Drew Claymore kick, 1, 2, 3, thank you very much. Baron Corbin and Bobby Lashley then come down to the ring, and it seems like Elias has joined this trio, and it's now a quartet, if you will, and they start beating on Dean Ambrose. And Seth Rollins' music hits, and he's come out holding a chair. Don't know why. But Roman Reigns then comes out, and they stick Roman Reigns straight back into the action as Roman Reigns is Superman punching everyone. Seth Rollins is beating everyone down. Bobby Lashley tried to get back in the ring after they chased up the ramp to try and get Roman and Seth, and Roman Superman punched him back off it. Seth curb stomped Elias, and then Roman speared Drew McIntyre right out of his boots, and then they walked off. No acknowledgement of Dean whatsoever, except for a look back at the end, a glance back to Dean as he was trying to get back up. But when they're in the ring, no acknowledgement of Dean Ambrose whatsoever. So that's interesting. I got a lot of questions to ask why the Shield should be reuniting, but I'm just glad that they didn't acknowledge Dean. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens. We then had a match between Nia Jax and Bayley. That was it. I don't know why I had to think then. Nia Jax and Bayley. It was announced before the match kicked off that at Fastlane it will be Bayley and Sasha versus Nia Jax and Tamina for the women's tag team titles. That's it. And this match, it was okay match. Bayley picking up the victory on Nia Jax after a single elbow drop. Interesting. But now, we had a very, very fantastic start to Raw, and we had a really, really strong end to Raw, in my opinion. Which, it got me going. Ric Flair's birthday celebration. We come back after a commercial break, and all the faces, I assume, of the roster are all on the ramp, and Triple H then comes out with Stephanie, and they start introducing legends of Ric Flair's past and present and whatnot. So we had, I'm trying to go in order, HBK, Shawn Michaels comes out, Kurt Angle then comes out, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and then Sting comes out. So 4 big names, 4 legends of the game, if you will. And then Triple H goes and announces Ric Flair. Ric Flair's music hits, the classical music. You know what's gonna go down when you hear the music. But nothing happens. Ric Flair didn't come out whatsoever. And the cameras go backstage, and all you see is a wild Batista dragging a cameraman to Ric Flair's locker room, says to him, stay there, goes in, drags Ric Flair from his jacket, like dragging him like that, out into the corridor after clearly beating him up, and Batista just looks at the camera and goes, Hunter, have I got your attention now? Screams CM Punk, but he just turns and says, have I got your attention now? He then screams down the camera, and Triple H runs, sprints to the back, sprints to where Ric Flair is. Batista's nowhere to be seen, but it's set up, quite possibly, hopefully, it should do. If it doesn't, be travesty. Batista versus Triple H at WrestleMania, which I'm a massive Batista mark. Like, I'll accept that. Like, I've loved him ever since I was a wee teenager. But I can't. Batista versus Triple H just does stuff to me, and I can't wait to see if that happens. It should happen. Fingers crossed. It should happen. Monday Night Raw. I was going to give it 3.25 stars, but after the Batista thing happened, I'm going to give it 3.5 stars. We had the fantastic news at the start with Roman. You know, we had a lot of matches crammed into the middle of it. Nothing really going on. The whole Ronda stuff was probably the highlight of that. Maybe the pretend, not pretend Shield reunion. And then the end, for me, was fantastic. With Batista returning. Maybe getting that WrestleMania match, which it sends shivers down my spine. If you did enjoy that, please leave a like on the video. Please subscribe if you're new around here. Leave a comment down below what you thought of Monday Night Raw, and I shall see you again tomorrow for SmackDown Live. Thank you very much for watching.